The New Immigration, Asian Americans and Latinos, from Nation of Nations, A Narrative History of the American Republic by James Davidson and others. The Immigration Act of 1965 altered the face of American life. The lawmakers who passed the Immigration Act did not expect such far-reaching consequences because they had assumed that Europeans would continue to predominate among newcomers. Wave of new immigrants. Yet, this reform of the old quota system opened the way for a wave of immigrants unequaled since the beginning of this century. Economic and political causes of immigration. Turmoil abroad pushed many immigrants toward the United States, beginning in the 1960s with Fidel Castro's revolution in Cuba, and unrest in the Dominican Republic. The war in Vietnam and its aftermath produced more than 500,000 refugees in the 15 years after 1975. Political causes. Revolutionary conflicts in Central America during the 1980s launched new streams, yet the economic factors played as great a role as the terrors of war. Economic causes. Although some Filipinos fled the repressive regime of Ferdinand Marcos, many more came to the United States in a more straightforward search for economic prosperity. When Mexico suffered an economic downturn in the 1980s, emigration there rose sharply. 1990 to 2005. In all, about 13 million immigrants arrived in the United States between 1990 and 2005. The nation's foreign-born population rose to 11.7%, the highest proportion since World War II. The 1990s. In the 1990s, the Latino population increased by over 35% to about 30.3 million. The Asian American population grew at an even faster rate to about 10.8 million. Through the decade, a steadily expanding economy made immigrants a welcome source of new labor. Prosperity. Prosperity, in turn, reduced, though it did not eliminate, conflict among long-standing residents, new immigrants, and people on the margin of the labor market. The new look, Asian Americans. In 1970, 96% of Asian Americans were Japanese, Chinese, or Filipino. By the year 2000, those same three groups constituted only about half of all Asian Americans. Newcomers. As the diversity of Asian immigrants increased, Asians, Indians, Koreans, and Vietnamese Americans came to outnumber Japanese Americans. The newcomers also varied dramatically in economic background, crowding both ends of the economic spectrum. And you can read more about this in our textbook.